20 years, two strokes, two marathons, two Guinness World Record attempts. And here we are. Today is Thankful Thursday. It's also Throwback Thursday with Fiance Files with the one and only Sekou Wright and Fee King. Join us today. Check in, chat with us. We're talking about all things love, relationships, friendships, challenges, how we navigate our relationship. Let's go.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
Nelson said hi.
Yeah. I need to zoom out some.
It's okay. That's what you would say. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
He's the it's fine man. It's fine. It's fine, Fee. And I'm like, no, it's not fine, Sekou. Just calm down. Calm down, Fee King.
I think this is it.
Crop solo layout to show background.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
It'll do. Welcome
do.
to Fiance Files with him.
Sekou Wrights.
And me, Fee King.
And welcome. and we are here on
Hey, brother, the Black Empowerment.
What's up, Ben? What's up, Ben? Appreciate you being here. So what we're going to talk about today. Well, wait a minute. Let me do the intros. So give thanks to New Thought Media Network for allowing me to grow, to grow. And I also want to thank B for allowing this show to grow and grow and grow.
Thank you.
And yeah, and now we're going to get into it.
All right. So okay. Real conversations. We have real conversations on Fiance Files, on Get Rich 101, on the Fee King Show, because we are real people.
Yeah. By the way, I'm actually on hold on a call, so I may need to slip out because
it's important.
It's important.
It's fine.
It's fine.
We're not on Facebook, and I know you love to say it's fine.
That's fine.
It's not fine. Let me tell you why it's not fine, babe.
No, let's just let it go.
But this is where our audience is.
It's all right.
So
it's all right. It's all right. People are watching. So let's go on with the show. So what I wanted to talk about right off the bat is that you were talking yesterday about
you're distracted by that.
No, I'm distracted by whatever you were doing. Shoot.
Stay focused. I was talking yesterday about.
You were talking yesterday about you were come on, Sekou.
Is it about money?
Yes,
family,
it's about money.
Finances.
The 10%. The 10% down. And so this is what I was talking about. As you use the 10%. You use the 10%, and you were talking about it because you were feeling like it wasn't comfortable. And so I wanted to talk about that.
Okay, I honestly, I don't know what we're talking about. Are we talking about when you were watching the show? What are we talking about? The 10%?
No, you're talking about your 10%. Like you were feeling like you got to pay these bills. You got to pay these bills, and it doesn't make sense to set aside the 10%, but you set aside 10% anyway.
Slow down. Mm-hmm. So people can understand you because this is so important.
Yeah.
So take your time, pause, say it again.
I said that you were saying yesterday that it was hard for you to set aside the 10%.
Okay.
But you felt like you had to pay these bills,
Yes.
But then you were able to shift and actually set aside the 10%.
That's good.
So I want to talk about that.
That's good. Yes. Yeah. That's so good. That is so good. Let me tell you why it's so good.
Okay.
So many reasons why it's so good is because as I'm jogging, walking around New York City specifically, when I see unhoused people, when I see people who appear to be distressed, the first thing that comes to mind is if only they had someone in their lives who could have gotten their attention about money. I think, and I'm like, wow, you probably need to focus on yourself. And I say, no, because I can focus on myself in the midst of helping other people.
And also that helps you focus on yourself. Helping other people helps you because you're saying in it, you're saying in it, you're saying in it.
Say that again. Helping you.
Yeah, helping other people helps you stay in it.
Yes. And so I just wanted to say that is when I'm moving around and I see people, a big part of me wants to stop and say to them, and I do this a lot when I'm in the Uber. I do say it. I said, you know what, no matter where you are, how much money you make, or how small the amount is, even if it's $1, I said the best thing you can do for yourself, and typically this conversation happens with women who have children, the best thing that you can do for yourself and your child is pay yourself first and set aside 10%. If you're unable to do 10%, at least do $1. And that does keep me on track. So I was in Baltimore City. I had a couple wood tool therapy clients, a couple massage clients, and I'm also doing Uber, as well as dentist appointment. Just when I go to Baltimore, it is a whole production. I feel like I need a camera team to follow me around. And I'm sharing with Sekou how much money I made on certain days. And he said, don't forget fee.
Yeah.
Don't forget fee.
Yeah.
And I was
active about it. Active about it. Active about it. Knew we had to be active about it.
So I was like, let me stop telling him how much. But it kept me on track. And even though paying my bills are supremely important, paying yourself ought to be more important.
It ought to be. It ought to
and
be.
I know it's challenging.
It's hard though. It's hard.
It's so important though,
Yeah,
because we have not been conditioned to put ourselves first in so many areas of our lives. We have just not been conditioned to do that. And so I did that. And I did that with my Charles Schwab account, which meant I needed to go and get a cashier's check. So there were, and sometimes when you have more than one step, that can throw you off and distract you because you're like, that's too many steps. Oh, that's going to take too much time. Oh, I got to drive. The nearest Charles Schwab from where I was, and I was all over the DMV, the nearest Charles Schwab was anywhere from 6 to 12 miles away. 6 to 12 miles. And let me tell you how the universe works and how spirit shows up and supports you. I literally was in Annapolis doing Uber, dropped off a passenger. I was en route to dropping off a passenger at this extraordinary mall, beautiful mall. And I just looked ahead because I'm at a light and I was like, what? I didn't even say anything. I turned the app off, dropped her off, because that's another thing. If I get another ride request, that's another excuse I couldn't get there because and then I said it's 8:30. They probably don't open until 9, which means I'm gonna need to wait 30 minutes. And I pulled up, and guess what time they open?
The time.
8:30.
8:30. 8:30, right? That's so key because there's all these excuses that we put up in front of ourselves in between giving the 10%, saving the 10%, investing the 10%. Investing the 10%.
Yes.
So I just want to make this clear because I say this a lot. I say, put the 10% away, put the 10% away. But you have to understand that I had to go through a period of hardship with it. And often, sometimes I slip. Sometimes I slip now. But I swear to you that putting aside that money, paying yourself first, and you know you heard it before. You know you heard it before.
They heard it from you.
They heard it from other people out there in the world. Everyone's talking about pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. I've heard it a billion times.
I've never heard it. I've never heard someone say that to me until Sekou writes. I've heard churches say give your first 10, tithe, But I've never heard anyone say pay you first.
You never heard that?
Never.
Well, I don't know.
And
I've heard it
working.
a lot. I've heard it a lot.
I've been working since the age of 12.
Wow.
And not one employer, not one human resources person, not my mother.
Wow.
Not one person ever said, oh, by the way, when you get your first check, pay you first. Like,
okay. Well, let me pause right there, because what you just did was you were someone friendly, giving you good advice, right? Let me give you advice about 10%. But I'm talking about people just saying it off the wheel, like, yeah, save 10%, like this easy. No, not save 10%. Pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. But just a casual.
No,
kinda,
Sekou, what I'm saying to you is no.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying no one has ever casually said that.
Yeah, I know, but you're saying like a friendly thing. Like, yeah, let me tell you what to do with your 10%. Let me tell you what to do. And I haven't experienced that. Okay. But I've had experienced people talking about, make sure you pay yourself first, just kind of casually. I've heard it in and I don't even know where, but I've heard it, people refer to it before. And so anyway, that's two different ways of being aware of it. But actually one way of being aware of it, and then one way of not quite catching it, right? Mm-hmm. No, not catching, not catching it at all. Catching it all. So what I'm saying is, I've said this a lot. I've said this a lot, and I've said it, but what I mean is that I've had to go through my period of hardship with it, because remember, I had a $200,000 per year salary, and then I wasn't saving anything. But then I went down to DoorDash, and I was like, this is gonna make it's not gonna make any money. It's not gonna make any difference. Me paying myself first is not gonna make any difference. And I had to fight until I will finally set aside 10% off the top. Now, like that's like $10 off of $100. Well, $100, 10% of that is $10. Yes. And I'll be like, oh man, I'm gonna need that $10. I'm gonna need that $10.
We always think we're gonna need it.
I'm gonna need that $10. Yeah. And then I put it away, put it aside, and then I focused on the money I had, the 90 that I had, and it took care of everything.
And this was a guy during this time. And I hope that when we teach our upcoming seminar, yes, which is, by the way, shameless plug,
right.
Getting fit, physically and fiscally fit,
right,
so that you and us and all of us can go into 2025 in the red. Like, I want you to imagine what it's going to feel like, because you do the work, to go into the new year physically fit and fiscally fit, knowing more than you do now. Oh,
there we go.
So we want you to become with us a baddie. It's really a bad bloop at being physically and fiscally fit. And so this was a man during the time. I was saying, I hope that you share the story of that $200,000 a year job in our course, in the challenge. I hope that you do that.
Sure.
Because I know that I've heard it, but I feel like I need to hear it again. Like, how did you go from $200,000 a year? Let me say it again for my ladies in the back row, because y'all know y'all want to know. How did he go from $200,000 a year to doing DoorDash? Right? And so
DoorDash during the pandemic.
During the pandemic,
so I had no way to make money.
Yeah. So when we launched this challenge, Sekou definitely will be dropping a lot more knowledge in that. What I want to say, though, is this is a guy during that time. Let me repeat. He was earning $200,000 a year. From that to DoorDash. However, during that time, he took $1. He took $1 and invested it in AMC stocks, which was tanking because there was the rumor that the theaters were going to close because it's COVID. He took $1 and was able to invest it and turn $1 into $1,200.
Yes.
During the time of
Yes.
COVID and during the time he
Yes.
was doing DoorDash.
Yes.
So
The time when people were all upset about losing money, and I was making money
yes.
during that time.
And so look what just popped up. Charles Schwab.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
I didn't
Oh
see
my
it.
goodness. Okay. When I was in, so I decided to do Uber Eats in New Jersey because I want to continue to be able to pay myself first. And so it's important that I continue to keep my eye on the prize of 7 streams of income. And so I said, well, let me just see what I can do with Uber Eats in New Jersey. I personally don't enjoy doing Uber Eats. I said, but I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy seeing the architecture, different areas, and let me see if it's going to be profitable. And it wasn't. It was not what I needed it to be. And do you know, when we got back, Sekou did it with me, by the way. Sekou did the whole time, y'all. I was just like, aren't you ready for me to take you to the train station? Don't you want me? Aren't you tired? I was like, oh.
I'm chilling.
Because I felt like he was getting bored.
Nah, I was cool.
The amount of money I made is not even worth mentioning. However, when I got home, I said, you are going to take 10% of this and transfer it into Charles Schwab. And I'll be honest, you can do a thing even though you don't want to. You can do a thing even if it doesn't bring you instant pleasure and gratification. Because we live in a society where I don't want to do it if it's not pleasing to me. I don't want to eat it if it doesn't taste good. Nothing about taking 10% of that small amount of money that I made me feel good, except for thinking about the long-term result.
Yes. And you have a long-term result for me, because I went to Charles Schwab and he gave us all kinds of ideas. And we were like, what? What?
Yes.
So this is Chris Bygraves, who works at the local branch of Charles Schwab.
Yes.
And was able to hook things up. And so now she's got a very clear goal of turning that money into something that will grow.
And I want people to understand, I want you to understand that you can grow from where you are.
Yes.
You can grow from where you are.
Let me just remind people, I was making $200,000 a year. Like, I'm making money now, and I blew all of it. And yet I started saving the money when the pandemic came. That's when I started saving. And that's how I put my money together from there. Yeah.
So for me, let me ask you, Sekou, why is it so important for you right now to get yourself financially from where you are to where you want to be? Why is that? Why is there a sense of urgency on that for you?
Yeah, because of the pandemic. No, I'm sorry, because of the stroke. Because I had a stroke when I didn't have any benefits. And I was one of those people who was like, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. And to have something as traumatic as a stroke happen and not have any benefits, just it was staggering, the amount of money. So here's an example. I had my stroke at Fisk University. I was giving a commencement address, and the people there got me into an ambulance. The ambulance took me about.
Did you say ambulance?
Ambulance.
Yeah, okay.
Ambulance.
I was gonna talk about you.
Sorry. Sometimes my enunciation gets stuck. It gets stuck from the aphasia.
Thank you. I was gonna.
Yeah.
So I am always encouraging Sekou to go a little deeper and share a little more, because people are watching that you don't know how you can impact and educate them.
Yeah.
Prime example, and then get back to your story. I have a friend from LA whose boyfriend had a stroke. I had no idea. I had no idea she was watching the show. No idea, because she never comments. she messaged me on Instagram about 2 months ago and shared with me, Fee, I've been watching you and your fiance, and I know he had a stroke. My partner just had a stroke, and she has a host of questions for me. So it's so important that we share more about his stroke, why he had a stroke, what his current symptoms are, because you all get to see him for really a soundbite. This is 30 minutes. Really. Yeah. You don't know. You don't know.
You don't know how it is the rest of the
23 and a half hours, 23.5 hours of what he's experiencing. So that's why I pause. He still suffers from aphasia. Aphasia is a speech, language, and memory disorder as a result of the stroke. It affects his short-term memory more than his long-term memory. All right. So thank you so much, Fatima, for sharing. And please share it with the men. Share this with the men because they need to know, and share it with the women so that we can empower our men. Okay. So go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I have aphasia. That's what she's saying. Yes. And pushing past that, I was saying that the ambulance picked me up at Fisk University and took me a little over a mile from where I was picked up to where I was dropped off. It's a short ride is my point. It's a short ride. And that cost me $1,000. And that was my shortest ambulance ride ever. I mean, I took many ambulance rides since then, and they've all been longer. And so they've all been much more than $1,000. And just factoring that in without having benefits, it's like, here you go. Where's my $1,000? Like, what? It's like really traumatic. And so I had to think about money. I didn't realize this, but I had to think about money in a different kind of way. Yeah. And so I've been thinking about money in a much more focused, driven way. And I've learned some things that, I mean, that have been staggering. I mean, just the fact that I can get a financial advisor right now, and have it change my life right now. Yes, is amazing.
And it's because you started from where you are. A lot of times people think, including myself in the past, oh, as soon as I make more money, as soon as I get more clients, as soon as then I will. No, you get to do it right now.
Right.
Here's an example. And I'm so passionate about this as well, because Sekou he's not giving you the real. Here's the real. Prior to his stroke, he had just begun going down the rabbit hole of money, investing, stocks, cryptocurrency. You had me buying, what was it on Cash App? What did you have me buying?
Cash App. Wow, Cash App. Once again, I didn't know what I was doing. You don't have to know what you're doing. You don't have to know what you're doing to make money. You can just do it with whatever. Sorry. Anyway, so I think I had you. I don't even remember.
It was something specific that I was purchasing through Cash App. So
yeah, it was about to split.
Yeah. And that was the day, actually, the day that I spent the most amount of money, the day that I made my biggest investment. Let me reframe. The day that I made my biggest investment, which was Google stock, was the day that he had his stroke, July 14th, 2022.
Yeah.
What Sekou is not sharing with you is he was doing this work prior to his stroke, but because of his stroke, and I like to say that his stroke was a blessing in disguise, because his stroke created a bigger sense of urgency for him to not only learn about money, but learn about it in a way where he can share and empower other people. And so he's not new to this. He's true to this.
And let me just point out, though, that I had amnesia. I had full amnesia. So I did not remember anything regarding to money. I didn't remember that I had a Charles Schwab account. I didn't remember that I had this money.
Stocks.
I didn't know anything. And I'm just sitting around. I'm watching my show. I was like, I have a show? What? I was listening to my show, and I kept giving myself advice giving myself advice, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Like, that's crazy talk.
Yeah, that was crazy talk to me. And then it slowly dawned on me, hey, maybe I've done this before. And I looked at my phone, I was like, oh my goodness. And then I had to figure out how to get into it because I forgot all the passwords. So yeah, it was really an interesting procedure to go through it like that. But it made me value it so much more. It made me value so much more because I was like, wow, this is great that I've got this thing. I've got these these little, I don't know what to call
People
them.
make up a word.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You're gonna say these pigeons. Speaking of, did you upload that photo that I sent you?
Oh
you
yeah.
Just said a keyword.
Yeah.
So he just said these pigeons.
Yeah.
And this morning I wanted to share this image, and I know you can't see it here. I'll share it on my my Facebook page. This photo is so important because it symbolizes that nothing is constant. Things are always changing. Things are always changing. Sometimes you look at a job or a position, a situation in life as something being stable. I can count on that. And that's not true. Everything is changing. Just last week, there was not a big pigeon in the Highland. Do you remember what was there?
No.
It was this beautiful pink, bright pink, like my Sephora birthday pink lipstick, thanks to Miss Fatima West. It was that bright pink tree with limbs. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's been changed into this pigeon. And the details in this pigeon that this artist, the details are so precise. It's beautiful. I will share it. And so I wanted to share that with you because we haven't run that way together. And just for me, when I saw it, I said, this is the symbolism of change is inevitable. Change is inevitable. Nothing is staying the same. Everything and everyone is changing every day. And so we get to embrace change. And so for those of you who feel like I did and like I still do sometimes, and like Sekou still does, you feel a little trepidation around money and investing and saving and paying yourself first and growing your money from where you are with whatever you make, know that you can still feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And do it anyway. You can still feel fear around it and do it anyway. You can still feel uncertain and not like, I don't really know what I'm doing. How many things have you done that you didn't know how to do until you did it?
Right. And just remember that even though you should do it every day, you should do it every day. You should take your 10% out and put it aside, right? But even though you might slip up sometimes, you got to have
maybe discipline. You have to continue to work your discipline muscle.
It's not, not having discipline. Like, even though you might not have discipline, if you put aside the 10% once, I guarantee you, you're gonna look back and see how much it's grown, and you're gonna be like, "What?" Then put some more in there. All right. So,
thank you, Bitcoin. Thank you, Sanji. It was Bitcoin he had me buying on Cash App during COVID. Thank you so much, Sanji. Allen, she said Baptist fingers. Girl, I don't know what that means, but let me know. Good morning. I'm late and listening. Oh, yay. Listening from Houston, Texas in the house. She's from Omaha, Nebraska. ONE. Yes, there are Black people in Omaha. Our time is up.
Our time is up. Our time is up.
We love you, Rev Melissa.
Yeah, we love you.
So catch Rev Melissa's show today at 10:30 a.m.
10:30 p.m., right?
A.m. 10:30 a.m.
No, for the moon.
But I'm talking about her show. 10:30 a.m.
No, she doesn't do the show.
She doesn't do the show?
She's doing the show? I don't know.
She has a show, and then we're doing the full moon ceremony tonight. And let me tell you, the full moon ceremony, it is, when I say important, it is so important. Don't take my word for it. Show up,
participate,
Yeah.
get involved.
Yep.
We do an incredible journal exercise. We meditate and we learn about the powers of the moon. But more importantly, we get reminded of how powerful we are
Right.
during the full moon. Okay.
And I know we're long overdue now, but I'm just going to say that for me, meditation with the moon is always little like this. Like my mind, the aphasia, everything that's going on in my mind, make it like it doesn't hold very long. But I find that even through that, my mind still carries something through. I'm like, wow, how did I get this? How did this kernel come out? And I was like, wow. So I gotta do the meditation moon every time. Every time.
We'll be there tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We'll see you later.